Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, and so yeah, was it twist everyone? Edelgard was the bad guy all along, we totally didn't see this one coming. So we're inside the Holy Tomb and Edelgard's whole, the actual thing in this chapter is obviously defeat Edelgard is the main key, but what she's trying to do is trying to get all the Crest stones from the tomb, so that's another side objective you have to do. This map has you doing a lot, and it can seem very daunting at first because there are multiple Crest stones that many enemies are trying to gather. Not only that, but also trying to escape, and you've got to deal with not only like knights and archers and mages, but you've also got to deal with demonic beasts. Why do I keep saying danger beasts? I don't know. Anyway, so the gist of this chapter is, defeat Edelgard, but try and save as many Crest stones as possible. In the first couple of turns, most of the enemies will grab them, but the map as a whole, it's quite spacious. There are some pathways that are kind of like streamlined things, but it's overall pretty spacious. And again, a lot of the enemy forces are just more there to stall you, like with all the knights and stuff and archers. They're more there to stall you rather than, outright go in for the offense. They're being more defensive from what I've observed. The enemy variety here is a little lacking, but the enemies are decently potent. Well, most of them, I'll get into that in a second. But the chapter itself, I actually thought was... I thought it was a chapter that definitely could have been a lot worse. And for what it's worth, I enjoyed it. I can see why someone wouldn't like it, but I personally enjoyed it. I'd say it's like in the middle ground far as Three Houses maps go. I don't think it's the best, I don't think it's the worst either, because like, the things I don't like about it is, I don't like the lack of enemy variety. Also, yeah, this first bit's going to be quite long, because it's just, again, I show off the first time because it's just me deliberating what to do, because I really had to think this one out. Because again, the map can seem very daunting, the layout is alright, the enemy variety is a bit lacking, and yeah, so that hurts it. But what I do like about it is that there is an additional objective. This says the Crest stones, and you are rewarded for it. The fact that, the fact that the enemies that actually gather the Crest stones are the weaker enemies, so they're much easier to deal with if you happen to, if you just so happen to, if you just happen to fight them. So that's reassuring. It's like, if you use all the energy to try and get to them, there won't be too much of a hassle, which I'm very, very glad for. And I also think this is a map which allows a lot of classes to thrive, because, mounted classes are very good here, so you can catch all the enemies off guard, but at the same time, they've got archers to take care of your flying units, so be careful of that. Mages are good here too, because not only can they tank magic, they can also take down the knights very well, but then they're not particularly fast moving, and they might have trouble against the demonic beast, so there's that. Bulky units like knights and so on can work well here, because again, a lot of the enemy are kind of like wall you in with the other knights, and you're getting attacks from a lot of directions from like magic and archers, so being able to tank them is very, very, very useful. So again, a lot of classes can thrive here for different reasons, and then I think it here among most Fire Emblem chapters where Balance Team really allows to thrive, and Ingrid just going in, kicking ass. Yeah, I think Ingrid's now a permanent member. I remember I didn't get the footage of it, but Ingrid's a permanent member now. So yeah, and unfortunately, she was the only other, aside from Lysithia, who we get through time skip, she was the only other student I was able to recruit pre-time skip on the Crimson Flower, because when I go to Silver Snow, literally, when I go back to the monastery and we get an extra week or month of training, I was able to get Marianne, and happy days. So again, I like that the chapter is a lot more involved. There's a lot to do. Again, it can be very daunting at first, don't get me wrong. It can be like, oh shit, how am I supposed to handle all this? But as long as you just play it right, divide the army into a nice 2x2, it should be perfectly fine. Again, as long as, should be able to do just fine. And again, you don't have to worry too much about the Crest stones, because not only are the enemies not that strong, but they've only got 5 moves, so as long as you've got someone, you can easily catch them up, even if you're spending quite a bit of time fighting off the beasts. Must be said, you can't use Edelgard in this chapter, you can't use Hubert, so make sure you don't rely on them too much. I mean, you shouldn't, regardless, there's always Byleth, but it's just to let you know, there are, you can't use them, so just be prepared. And don't worry about killing Edelgard, the whole point is to defeat her, she doesn't die. But yeah, I personally enjoyed the chapter, and it's here where Bernadetta really, really starts to shine. Like, ever since she became a sniper, not only does she have the additional bow range, but her crit rate just, well, not skyrocketed, but it became really damn good. So yeah, I'm just waiting here with Ferdinand and Nine-Hand Axe. Just, waiting patiently by, because again, I'd like 1 to 2 ranges against Arzico, do I see? Though, honest to God, considering how snipers and so on function are, like, again, because I remember saying hand axes and javelins aren't that great anymore. Well, aside from the fact that a lot of them are weak as shit, like, honestly, they're really weak. It's because a lot of, like, granted, most range unit, like, you know, most range unit, it is 1 to 2, and, you know, that's how it's always been. But a lot of archers have, like, 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 even, so having a ranged weapon against them, unless you're another archer, is kind of pointless. Unless, like, say, you're a mage who has a 1 to 3 range, like, you know, you got Dorothea and Thoron or something like that. It's a little bit on the pointless side. But I mean, that's just what I happen to notice. I could be completely wrong. You know, 1 to 2 range still could be extremely viable. It's just, I've noticed that because of how the archers work, you know, the 1 to 2 doesn't always cut it. Well, later down the line, I should say, 1 to 2 doesn't cut it, because early on, you know, most archers are 1 to 2. Well, 2, or specifically, you know, 2 to 2. Because before, they don't get close counter until they get to C rank. And I'm so grateful that Free Houses made archers much more viable. Again, they're not echoes, because again, they still start with the same problems. But, you know, they very quickly, you know, pick up the slack. Because, you know, they get close counter, they get skills like Curve Shot, which can be very, very useful. They get, like, Hunter's Volley, I think snipers get, which is, you know, really damn good. I think bows are pretty strong in this game. I could be wrong, they could be just a normal strength, but they feel very strong in this game. And just, yeah, it's really, and, you know, they got the excellent hit rates, which, you know, considering Free Houses and how sometimes terrain works, I think excellent hit rate can be very, very useful. So yeah, you know, I really like archers and snipers in this game. You know, Bernadetta is going to become a bow knight, but she goes sniper path first. I know I'm working, whatchamacallit, to become bow knight. What's his face? So yeah, you got Crest
Every last one of those Crest
Ash, I'm working towards become bow knight. I heard Leone makes an amazing bow knight. I know that starting out, I probably will focus on Cavalier Paladin and then maybe go bow knight for Masterclass. Because when I was looking at Ferdinand and comparing the stats, I noticed that Great Knight pretty much just nerfs him. He doesn't really get any better. The only thing that gets better is HP and defense, but everything else drops, including, like, move and just all the other stats. I'm like, well, that's kind of pointless. So yeah, again, they're going after the Crest Stones, but you've got time to get them. They don't move that fast, and again, a lot of them aren't that strong, so you don't have to worry too much. They will make a retreat eventually, but don't lose sleep over it, basically. Yeah, just fucking look at Bernie Bag go. Hey, oh, she is angry. Actually, looking at it, her crit rate didn't jump, so to speak. It's more so just a case of, you know, she just happens to be really crit happy in this round. Well, it's not just her, it's a lot of people. So get ready for that non-killer crit count, because it's going to be very, 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 very active.
Thank you.
Oh, God. And then we've got to deal with the demonic beasts. They're not too, again, they've only got 1 health bar, thank God. Oh, and here, yep. I really, really loved Byleth's Enlightened class. It just, aside from looking quite cool, it just, like, feels really good. Just, like, again, it's Byleth as you expect him. It's just, you know, now it can use magic. And it's like, fuck yeah. I mean, granted, I don't know how, like, I'm sure if you go Enlightened, you probably lose out on a mount. So that probably sucks. If you're running, like, Wyvern or Pegasus Knight Byleth, well, that's more so if you're female. I reckon Enlightened class will probably be really good. More good for male, just because you don't have to worry about running, there it goes again, running Pegasus Knight, since you can't become one. Tragic. And I know that in Free Houses, you know, flying units are extremely sought after. Why specifically? Probably just because of the types of terrain. Free Houses has a lot of blocked in areas and a lot of terrain that like outright just prevents units from moving. And I'm not talking about, like, you know, grassy fields where that movement is slowed. I'm talking about, like, structures which literally stop you from moving, whereas flying units can just fly over that. Because they actually have less move than, well, Pegasus Knights have only 6 move in this game instead of usual, you know, 7, so they got less move than Cavaliers, but being able to traverse so much terrain because of how Free Houses is structured and the fact that a lot of the things is very... Because again, the game is a lot more enemy, like, stall heavy. I've just noticed, especially early on, the game is way more stall heavy and enemy face heavy. It changes later down the line, but early on it's very much like that. But a lot of the terrain is very, very blockadey. Like, you know, you literally cannot, like, it's very rarely a straight road. You can, like, and so on. Oh, here we go. This is going to be good.
Hammer down!
Oh, if only it was a hammer, then you'd be fucked. But, as I was saying, yeah, a lot of the maps, it's not just having grassy terrain that slows you down. They have literal, like, houses and towers that you cannot pass unless you fly. So, you know, they got that going for them, and I can see why flying units is a sort of the... I mean, flying units in general, I like... Where has there ever been a fighting game where flying units are not that, like... when I say flying, I mean more than just Pegasus. I'm talking women, so where flying units are not one of if not the best. Because GBA, yep, flying units. Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, well, Path of Radiance 100%. Radiant Dawn, more so Wyverns, are amazing. Not so Pegasus Knights, but even then, Lint is pretty damn good. Awakening, yeah, Gale Force, Shadow Dragon, without a doubt, fucking, you know, Rider's Bane, Fashida, or stuff like that, and Wing Spear, just have them fly across or recast Jaken. Absolutely fantastic. Fates, yeah, Camilla and Hinoka, really damn good. And, you know, Kinshi Knight class, fuck yeah. See, they'll even ignore you, so yeah, you don't have to worry about that. They'll ignore you when they go after the Crest Zone. Even when you're retreating, I think they'll ignore you. Oh wow, we didn't take that one. Fire Emblem 4, yeah, well, because you know, just how much you need thing in that game. So yeah, so exactly, yeah. As I was, so you know, flying units pretty much always been amazing. Echoes, yeah, too. I mean, the only thing flying units have to worry about in Echoes is archers. But even then, they're still flying units, and you know, trying to get across some of the terrain and so on. Oh, it's getting another Crest Stone. How many Crest Stones are there? Oh yeah, that's another thing. There are more that sometimes enemies will go for more than one, so you have that extra time to deal with them. Again, I like that Three Houses does that. They didn't have to make it so that, oh, I've grabbed one, now I've got to fuck off, so you've really got to hurry your ass. And they don't make it so that the enemies are obnoxious to deal with. They're actually pretty easy if you go out of your way, so you don't have to worry about that. And again, I like how Three Houses finds that nice balance. It has some annoying traits at first, but it works around those traits to make them a lot more streamlined. Also, because I didn't know what I was doing, I decided to hold on to all the Crest Stones within my primary inventory rather than Convoy. I don't know if it changed anything, it probably doesn't. But again, this is the first time around, so I was just like, fuck it, I want to hold on to these. Yeah, again, Bernadetta with the extra range, god damn. I mean, granted, Shamir's better just on the principle of starting with, like, very high ranking bows, good, and you know, she's got her bases and all that jazz. It's just because of how Bernie's been growing, she's been really, 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 really damn good. Because Shamir, I don't know her growth rates, but her growths haven't been that impressive. Granted, again, her base rise is fine, so it's no big deal. It's just Bernie has been. I was like, oh yeah. And he's going in unarmed. So unarmed combat is a weird case because while it does give you a really good hit rate and you're more likely to quadruple, I know I've actually found out the training gauntlets, they have the exact same hit rate, and I think like they weigh next to nothing. And they do more damage, so literally, there's unarmed combat becomes useless when you have a training gauntlet. Other gauntlets, I can see you trying to, you know, get trying to focus on. Yeah, also, yeah, I missed a 92 because fuck you, Three Houses. That fucking hit rate, man, or that fucking RNG. Yeah, I just wanted to show it off. Just the, but I was saying, so like other like iron and stuff would probably weigh you down enough, whereas training probably won't, and you just deal a stronger attack. So unarmed is fine if you don't happen to have training gauntlets on you, but you might as well just have training gauntlets in that case if you're going to use unarmed combat. Food for thought, you know, it's just there if you need it. All these Crest Stones. Yeah, which one do I drop the prayer ring? Yeah, I want to have my weapons on standby. It's like 5 HP is nice, but I'd rather have multiple weapons on standby. Oh, the demonic beast. Oh, yeah, doing the AoE attack. I swear. Wait, does time skip have a lot of demonic beasts? Actually, you know what? I think it kind of... Well, actually, no, it has other things. It has those giant, like, statue soldiers, and then later down the line it has demonic beasts. Oh, man. Yeah, that's the one thing about Three Houses. I like demonic beasts in concept, especially as, like, boss fights. But when you overuse them, oh my god, it becomes a pain in the ass, because it takes... Like, again, it takes a... Well, not a whole team, but it takes a good number of units to take them down within a single turn. I mean, granted, you know, at minimum it should take, what, 2? Depending on, like, minimum it should be 1 per health bar. And, you know, later down the line, it does become that for me, because I've got units that are that good. But, you know, early on in some, it's just like, that's why I didn't like Sophie's Paralog, because it just goes on for ages. So I hope Three Houses knows where to draw, so I hope the next Fire Emblem game that is going to follow in Three Houses' footsteps knows where to draw the line, but also knows where to really, you know, for example, don't repeat maps ever. Unless, like, again, the only time no, like, right. Unless it's a skirmish, don't repeat maps. You know, if it's a skirmish, I do not mind. Repeat maps as much as you like, because, you know, making exclusive maps of skirmishes, that's effort, man. That is effort. Oh, there goes the critical. But, so yeah, draw back on the, what do you call it? The amount of things, make masterclasses more worth it, and at the same time give us more deployment slots, and for the love of all that is sacred, you know, more varied maps. Here's the thing: even if the map quality isn't that great, granted, I appreciate good map quality, but I'm not too fussed. The only time I get really fussed when the map quality is like noticeably bad, like Echoes. Like, yeah, because even in Echoes, some of the maps are just kind of fine. Just there's rarely a map that I find to be legit good. It's just a case of, like, parts 1 to 3, I had no problem with the maps. They're nothing amazing, but I got no problem with them. But parts 4 onwards, oh my god, this is when it just starts to really cheese my onions. Pardon my French. But, so, you know, I hope Three Houses does learn from this, you know, because again, Three Houses is, as of now, my favourite Fire Emblem game. I'm only one playthrough through, but I can easily say that. It does so much right, and it really stepped up the franchise's game. But it ain't perfect, and there's a lot you can learn from it, because obviously, being so ambitious, it either cut corners somewhere, or didn't know where to pull back in certain areas. But overall, I think this is a, you know, this should be the new standard for Fire Emblem, and I'm very, very happy that it's doing so well. I know some people have been thinking that it might get nominated for Game of the Year. I doubt it. It might get nominated and win Best RPG. If it does, fantastic. But I doubt it will get nominated for Game of the Year because, well, there goes Benny again. Rarely do RPGs get nominated, unless it's like Persona 5, or I know Monster Hunter World got nominated, that's a weird type of RPG. But just, again, because of the competitions here, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Sekiro, DMC, really stiff competition. Originally I thought Death Stranding was going to be up there, and then the reviews came out, and then I heard about like how it's an amazing story, but it's such a boring game, so I don't know where it's going to land. Granted, you know, if Three Houses does happen to get nominated for Game of the Year, even nominated for Game of the Year, not just RPG game, that would just show how, you know, we really are in a golden age of Fire Emblem again. But that would be fantastic. If it doesn't get nominated or win, I'm not going to be fussed, because it's still an extremely... I think it's currently the best-selling Fire Emblem game, in which case, fan-fucking-tastic. And also, it's just like, the critical reception's been amazing, the fan base has been amazing. You know, we are in a real golden age of Fire Emblem, all things considered, and because Three Houses is so damn good. Now, where the franchise goes from here, well, obviously there's the remake, but, you know, I really hope they do take their time. Like, again, I'm in no hurry for a new Fire Emblem game. I'm like, I really hope they take their time and just try and replicate that standard that Three Houses has set. Even if it takes them a good 3 or 4 years, I will not mind. Because, you know, when you got a game this good, you know, it's like, do what Zelda do. Well, not counting the remakes. Do what Zelda do. Take your time with each game, and then really come out the gate swinging. Because, hey, it works for Zelda, do it for Fire Emblem. Okay, so, anyway, that is the end of that part, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I actually kind of said that prematurely. I forgot about the heating stuff. But, okay, so next time we meet, we are beginning the Crimson Flower. Because, well, we'll show off the rest of the chapter, but then we'll also show the bit where I side with Edelgard, and we begin the Crimson Flower. And we're, you know, it's been a fun journey. Also got to mention, when we do, like, I won't do Silver Snow alongside it. Once Crimson Flowers complete them, instead of doing the whole thing again, we'll go back to this bit where you get the cutscene with Rhea, and then just go on from there with Silver Snow. So, you know, we won't have to go through the whole thing again. We'll literally just continue on from this specific bit. But I hope you all look forward to that and get ready for the Crimson Flower, because things get a lot more interesting from here out, for both the better and worse. We'll get more into that later. In the meantime, thank you all very much for watching. I will see you all later. Take care and have a wonderful day.